Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We are back for another stream, and one of the long-awaited features for LoreLink specifically, LoreLink for those who are new to the stream, is a TTRPG management system, specifically for TTRPGs, and that I've been working on with the Andromeda team. We are actually, if you're going to be at what's the name of that conference, the gaming conference, if you're going to be at HoosierCon next weekend, definitely come check us out. We will have a booth there, and I believe some of our peoples might be running games, so definitely look into that. Everything is on the LoreLink website. But right now what we're going to work on is dark mode, which is one of the most requested and much awaited feature. The feature's almost done. Our QA team just went through the work that was done, and we have a list of things that were missed doing the dark mode, so we're going to address those today. And that way we can hopefully get that shipped off and available to all of you here very, very soon. So let's go ahead and flip over to some code and let's take a look at our list of bugs. So immediately, even before we go into, oh, there it is. We have the icons, and it's this icon right here, which is a shared campaign. Whether I am in dark or light mode, as we can see, the dice is not showing up correctly. So let's go ahead and start by addressing that. So if I right click on it and inspect it, and I'm gonna, now that we know what we're working on, I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger, and we're gonna move the dev tools over here, make it a little bit easier. We're looking at this matte icon here, and we can see that it is getting its styles in terms of color, maybe from this band. There we go. We get a background on the status here in the campaign list component. So let's go ahead and grab that and take a look at what's going on in there. So if I go to our campaign list component, we go to the SCSS for that. Let's go ahead and find that status icon. That's the filters. There we go, status. So by default, it has a color of background, which is kind of problematic. If we change that to a color of probably text, let me see what our color options are here. We can basically go to, yeah, a text color would be fine. We can go to a text color. What did I say this was? Let me put this here because we're probably going to need to be referencing this a decent bit here for at least the names. So what we have is probably this, probably just the dumb text color, so dash text. Let's see what happens with that. Are we refreshing? Yes, we are. Good. That is, oh, that's the background of the icon. That's not what we wanted to do. What we want to do is the actual color itself. If I do color var text, now let's see what we've got. Much better. Now it's white. It is visible. And if I switch over, now we're looking at something that is actually visible. Cool. If I were to create another campaign, let's put and give it a different status. Let's check all our statuses while we're here. Let's go ahead. I'm going to not show the description. I'm going to go ahead and put it in. We're going to do a status of active. Make sure we have something that's active. We're just going to call it status active. I'm going to save that. I'm impatient. There we go. So we have a status of active. That looks good. We have this one's a draft. That looks good. That's a shared. Let's go ahead and create one to put in archived. And we're going to give it a status of archive right away. Save. Now that one's not going to show up immediately until I show the archive. Now archived is green. So we could technically, instead of using the text color here, we would have to edit it up here as well. Use a slightly different color than just our black, which I'm not quite loving. Let's go ahead and use our primary by default. Oops. Now if I do that, that's not bad at all. I like that. I like that. And now our archive still looks good. Now notice how this didn't get flagged by QA, but I know based on what's in prod. So if I go to prod right now, if I go to prod and I log in, we can see that there's some transparency here between the image and the text. And I think that here we have lost our transparency with the text and the image behind it. So let's regain that transparency. This is our content, which has a color of background. So we want a background with transparency. So let's go ahead and we have a background, a dumb background. What we want is a background with transparency. And so what we're going to do that, oops, I'm going to spell background correctly for starters. I'm going to take this white, and then we're going to go ahead and give it, I'm going to change this to RGB, and we're going to, nope. There we go, RGB, and we're going to do RGBA, and we're going to give it like, we don't want a lot of transparency because we want the text to stay visible and readable no matter what's behind it. But let's go ahead and give it maybe, I don't remember what it was before, but let's strip 0.86. And then, oh, then we need to actually change that background. And so that was on content, I believe. Yeah. And so they were going to do background transparent. Now our other background in dark mode does not have it yet. So I suspect it's going to see, now we've got the transparency. That looks nice. Now in dark mode, we don't. So it's going to take what we have in light mode, which is not ideal. So let's go ahead and fix that for dark mode. And so for dark mode, we're going to go ahead and give it a, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to take this background color that we had for our background. And again, same idea, we're going to make it into an RGBA. So we're going to go ahead and do the auto conversion here. Here we go. RGB and A. And we'll try 0.86, same as last time. And then go ahead and give that a go. This lifetime would be nice. There we go. Not bad. Not bad at all. Not hating on that at all. So that looks a lot nicer in terms of being able to actually still kind of see that icon color in the background. So the image color in the background. So I think that takes care of our first kind of issue or bug here. So let's keep going down our list. Where did I put that? Over here somewhere. There we go. All right, let's start from the top. Issue, image folder. When you're looking at the My Images page, so let's go to My Images. There we go. The name and description of the folder do not go from black font to white font. When you go from light mode to dark mode, they stay black. Let's see the image. Oh, it's in the, let's actually add a folder in here. That's how we're going to get that to show up. Okay, so if I add a folder, my Fonzie folder, for all my fancy things. Save. And what we see is we do see an issue with there. If I toggle, that's good, but that definitely does not switch. Okay, so let's go ahead and find out where that style is coming from. The fact that this table doesn't reflow is also problematic, but that's a different issue for a different day. So that is a link. And where is that getting its cover? Lore link, image explorer list TD. That's because that's a hard-coded image. So let's go find that in the image global. That is CSS, okay. Interesting. Image explorer list component, okay. Explore. Well, that's definitely not in here. Where's it coming from? Image explorer list component global.css. Image, there it is. Okay, there's that color. So that needs to be a var text. Is there any other colors in here? No, we're good. So now if I save that, go back to our file. Things are being slipped. There we go. So now when I switch between them, they appropriately switch their colors. Now I've noticed it a couple times. If I refresh this page, notice that flash of white. Let's see if we can't do something, because if I'm in light mode and I get a flash of black, it's a lot less disturbing than if I'm in dark mode and get a slash of white. So let's go ahead and see if we can't fix that by setting where do we set our basic background color? It's on body, I think. So if I set my HTML background to our dark mode color, it should prevent the flash and it shouldn't affect our foreground. It shouldn't affect our light mode because that's just on HTML. That should prevent the flash. No, it does not prevent the flash. Why is it doing the grid thing? I mean, I kind of like that usually, but right now it's kind of just annoying. Can we not show the grid thing at this very particular point in time? So I was right that it does not affect the body, but I do want to check something. So when we have, okay, so body versus body, light versus is not good in light, versus if I do the dark mode, then it gets class of dark. So let's edit that to prevent the flash. So what we're going to do here is like all of these colors that we set on HTML, I'm actually going to set them on HTML.light. And then what we're going to do is in the JavaScript that sits in the theme service, where we set up our light and dark mode, we're going to classes that remove and add theme. So it should set a theme of light versus dark. Return light. Yeah, whatever. If there's no value, we're gonna return light. But it should. Okay, this stupid grid thing is gonna drive me nuts. Can we not show the grid? No, we're bound and determined to show the grid. But what? There we go, because it's turned on. There we go. Now it's not turned on. So that class light, class dark. There we go. So now if I Control Shift R, but if I do a dark, does still do the flash. Interesting. Because it doesn't even have the, oh, because it doesn't have it loaded yet. Well, it doesn't have any of the CSS loaded yet. So what we might be able to do, actually, then is to go into our CSS and to get that to load right off the bat and not have to wait. And I don't do this often. Now that prevents the flash. Now it prevents the flash. There we go. And so if I change it to light, plus dark, plus light. Now we do need to, because we're in red light mode, we do need to address the body. And the fact that now the body is darkened. So the body... Oh, we might be doing this in theme. Oh, in styles.css. There we go. Let's go look at our body. Background. That's the issue right here. There we go. Light. And now, if I do a hard refresh on dark mode, we get the dark first. If I do a hard refresh in light mode, we start in dark and head to light, which prevents a flash for somebody who doesn't want it. So that works, and I'm much happier with that. Okay. Little niceties, but it'll make it a lot nicer for... Because flashing dark is not the end of the universe. You're not going to blind somebody by flashing dark. If you flash white on somebody that is actively in dark mode, that's going to be mildly problematic. So, that settles that one. Why is this red? Oh, it doesn't like my minus. Alright, whatever. This should be... Alright, now we're going to go back to... That's a different issue for a different day. We're going to go back to our bug. So that takes care of that issue. Location homepage. When on locations tab inside of your campaign in dark mode, there is a line through campaign world box at the top line. There's not in dark light mode. Okay, so let's see. I don't need that at the moment. Let's go back to lower link. There we go. So let's go in our campaign. Doesn't really matter which one. Let's go back. Let's go to world. Or the location. Let's go find exactly where that was. That was on locations. So it is not doing it for me. World campaign. Campaign world. think we need to create a new location. This is the, I don't know, home planet. There we go. ER. We're gonna save it. Parent is gonna be the world. Yeah, parent does not have a parent. That's awesome. Why is that not? That's interesting. That this campaign does not have the campaign world. That's okay. So now this campaign was generated funky, I guess. Let's go to locations. Yeah, this one doesn't have one either. That's very odd. Maybe something went wrong when I created it. This one doesn't have it. Does it tell me what it was made on? It is a desktop with Windows 10. That is something I do not have. So, or to check on. So, ooh, that's not awesome. We need to fix that. That hover is not gonna work for me. So that hover is on the link. What does it do in night mode? So night mode, it works fine, but not in dark mode. Okay. So that is the actual, oops. That is the actual link. So if I hover on the actual link, let's do hover. Yeah, there we go. So when we do hover, there's the hover. We just need a color. So Mixin 64. So we need to go find Mixins. Let's see, hover there. Hover is on the folder hover. Okay. Brilliant. That's not gonna help me. Folders. It's not in the Mixins. I don't know why it's telling me it's in the Mixins. There's the folder, there's the hover. Our tertiary color, there we go. And then we want from our theme, we're gonna use tertiary. I do believe that here on the tertiary, we have a tertiary text color. So all we need to do there, oh, this is why I think it's from there, because of the bevel. Okay, so then we want to do color var tertiary. Instead of lighter color, we want a tertiary text lighter color. And so that should address the hover there on there and should be good for both accounts. So, yep. And now if I do light mode, we're still good. Perfect. Okay. So now if I go ahead and add an image to this. Any image is fine. Let's do a fishy. Save. Please don't die on me. Oh, I did die on me. Okay, let's do, I know it will work for my, this is a known bug actively getting fixed. So let's go find any image. I think Splash will load, maybe? No. If I take, there we go. Inspect, copy image address, there we go. I'll do that. I will have to fix the image. There was a fix for it, but I can't remember. There was a quick and dirty for running local, but I don't remember what it is. That's alright. I'm pretty sure at least one of these would have... No, I don't have anything on this account. Maybe I have one on the account I'm logged in over here. I'm not logged in as anything. So let's try Orange Raccoon. Does Orange Raccoon... No, it's not either. Okay. Well, that's a dud. Okay. So we're not seeing the line here. Let's try a couple things to see if we can't make it show up. We already have locations. That prevents me from having to create one. This is not showing any lines. Nope. So what I don't know is I created... Let's look out for a second. Let's pick, I think Orange Raccoon has a... Do you have... No, you don't have the Campaign World problem. So we're gonna pick a new location. Not causing any issues. Make this bigger. Still not. Let's try some resizing. No. Let's add some more in here. See if the length makes a bit of a distance. Success. Oh, I added it under the same bucket. That's why it's not so. Look. It does not seem to make a difference. And this one had just Campaign World, which is essentially what we had initially. So I'm not reproducing this. Now why? Let's see how this could happen in some systems. Has to do with the fact that we're doing linear gradients to achieve the cutoff corners. So if I remove this background, right, it no longer has. So my guess is that what's causing it is that essentially this transparent line in the middle is part of the issue. So if I go to styles, nope. So if I go to my styles and I go look this guy up, this is going to be our detailed filter list. There we go. And here is the bevel bar. So the bevel bar is in Mixins. There it is. So we're looking at Interesting. So for example, if I take out one of these bevels, right, what we'll see is, as soon as it reloads, will it reload any faster? There it goes. My computer's running extra slow today. I don't know what the deal is. See how, my guess is see how this line essentially is, because we don't have an overlap, that's what's creating the line. If I take this one out and I take, I believe this one. Yeah, that's how you end up with the line. Because this essentially, if we take all of them out except for one, this is the shape we're creating, and we're just rotating it around. So interesting. To fix this, make it like as much, I can't reproduce it, so it's kind of hard to figure out how do theoretically we fix it. And part of it, I think, is going to be to create a almost an overlap between the height. So that's our first one over on the side, and then our second one would be right there. So if I change my bevel width, let's say I do 2ch, or maybe I just transform it to pure pixels on the bevel. That wouldn't affect my height. That's simply how cute it is. So that's not going to affect the height at all. Linear 45. Background side, I'm already doing 51, 51, so it should already overlap. Top left, top right, top bottom left, bottom right. So it should we already accounted for the line by doing 51, 51. If I do, we have a default color. There's not a whole lot because we're already accounting for the 50-50 and the overlap. So top left, bottom right, top right, top left. I mean, we can bump it up here and do like 52 or something and see if that helps, but it seems to be resolution and everything else, and maybe even computer or even Chrome version related, since I can't reproduce it. Let's see what that looks like if I do 52. Not bad at all. Can't really tell I did anything, so hopefully that fixes it. We'll see. So back to our list of issues. Is that really it? No. No, that's just decided to be a button. Let's refresh that. So we have the bevel. We did take player share icon campaign. Yeah, we took care of that. Nope. Is that really it? Oh, come on. What on earth? The new navigation is now available. Here, I mean, I love the Atlassian tools, don't get me wrong, but right now is not the time. Thank you. I think that was it. That was a lot less than I thought it would be. Okay. Let's do a quick kind of pass over. One thing I did notice. Let's put an image URL in here. So this is something I want to handle because it's that image is not doing what it's supposed to. So here we end up with the image having a clip path, which is fine. But what we want is object fit. Instead of contain, it should be cover. If I change this contain to cover, that's better. It still has a little bit of a issue with the side to side, but that is already in the translate. There it is. Okay, so if it's not the default, we don't want to translate. If it is the default, we do. Okay. So image, where is that located? It's in the image selector. And that's going to be true in this view as well. Oops. That's going to be true in this view as well. Ah, I did the same stupid. That's what I meant to. Oh, it's just not visible because it's so much lighter. Got it. Okay. So we have the same problem. So if we fix it for one, we'll fix it for the other. It's just a matter of actually fixing it. So that is in the image selector. Yeah. And so there we have this contain. You want that to be a cover. So now once we do that, I'm going to save this image this time so that I don't have to redo it every time. Okay. So now we have it there. We need to fix that translate. So that translate is coming from here, but we only want it on the default image, not on these like 3 boops, not on the general image. So let's see if I go to, do we have a default? Yeah, this is the image. So let's do does it already have a class of any kind? No. Oh, it does have class image. But so does that one. So we're going to add a default to this. And then in our CSS, we say that the img.default is the one that needs to translate. How's everybody's Monday going? Mine's been a little rough. Now we're looking good. Okay. Much better. And this should look good here too. Oops. Not what I meant to do. Fabulous. Fabulous. Alright. And so now if I do an image upload, should look good. Okay. Cool. Alright. That's good. If I go to my profile, We have our safety questions look great. Cool. If I go to, actually, if I go to my campaigns and I go to my test campaign and I go to my players, I need to be logged in as somebody with complete rights. So to do that, what am I logged in as? Profile. You have world. I want somebody with multiverse. I think. There you go. You have multiverse, I believe. Yes. Yes. Okay. So if I go to my campaign, I go to one that I own, and I go to my players, and I say generate an invite link. That looks good. So let's go ahead and generate one. Let's just reuse that same. Let's reuse that same picture. And then, let's see. Now that we have an invite link, that is annoying. Let's add some padding to that. So that's under players. That's gonna be under player list. Player list. Take that as CSS. Let's go find the HTML for that. Take a peek at it. Is there a root or anything? Just main. There's the quick create. There's the router outlets. Okay, so we actually want to be in one. Actually, no, main. Why doesn't main have a bunch of padding at bottom? Main. Padding 2ex 2ch. Let's say 10ex. If I do that, how annoying does that start looking? Better. Doesn't quite cover the bus, so we're still gonna have the overlap. Let's see, how about now? There we go. Now we're sure that the content gets past the plus. So now if I copy this to my clipboard and I do want somewhere where I can actually log in. Actually, that would work. Tiring. Yeah, I can feel that today. This Monday's been rough. This Monday's been really rough. We're gonna Control Shift V that. We're gonna log in as somebody else, not Grass Olive. Let's do Otter Peach. There we go. That looks good. That looks good. That looks good. That looks good. Cool. So if I say my name, well, who did we log in? I think, I don't know, something Peach. Peachy Peach. I'm gonna do that. So we're gonna accept that invite. So now we can go back to here. We have Peachy Peach. That looks good. So now we can say character. We don't have any characters. Okay. That works. There's not a lot of padding here. Let's go ahead and fix that while we're here. This is where this is player users. Okay, this is all on player user list. Player table. So it's the private link. This is all in player users. Alright. Want the HTML here. Because what we end up with is here we have generate invite link, remove let's see inputs. Oh, that's the list. This is what? It's after the select, which has a check mark. Awarding table. Here's the table. This might as well be a section. Much better. Much better. So now if I move that other character or that other, there we go, that's shared with me. If I go to players, I can leave the campaign and that works. Okay, cool. So we're good there. Sweet. That looks much nicer. Okay, so I think, let me double triple check the story, but I think we have addressed everything in it. Let's double check the pictures. Yep, that's been addressed as the Campaign of Doom. Yeah, Admit Campaign of Doom didn't have it, so we're good there. That's been addressed. I don't know. And cool beans. Okay. So I think that's it for this. I'm gonna go to the original story to see if there was any notes assigned to that initially. So if I go to my dark mode story here that we were working on initially, that's in testing. Once associated bug is completed. Okay, so we're good there. So let's go ahead and make a commit. So to make the commit, let's go to our terminal. Let's find out what this bookstore thing is. Like, no. What was the number? Yep. Dark mode bug list. Cool. That gives us a issue number of lore 837. So Control Shift New. What do we have all in here? All the pretty things. Git out dash B lore 837. Status, git all. Status, yes. Git commit dash lore 837. And that is dark mode. Now we're gonna go pull request that. Let's go ahead and pull request that. Create pull request. There we go. We're gonna add some reviewers to that. And we're gonna go ahead and create. No, not create that. Create this. There we go. Okay. So now that that's handled, let's take a 5-minute break. Go grab some coffee, stretch, and we'll figure out what we're gonna work on next. I'll be right back. And we're back. Hope you had a nice break, a quick stretch. Let's go ahead and see what's next. So looking through the backlog of bugs, and one of the things that came up, I'm gonna just take them in order as they're labeled for the next release. One of the things is earlier we saw when we tried to upload an image, that was actually not working. So what I don't know is if I try to I'm gonna add an image, right? We're gonna call it fish. I'll call it pink beta. And we're gonna go upload my image of my pink beta. So if I go to my downloads, there we go. Select. And then I'm going to try to go ahead and save that data. Now, in theory, we get a Firebase error internal, which is in our image storage service. So let's find out what's going on there. Actually, before we even do that, let's go ahead and see if it's happening in test or see if it's an emulator issue. So I'm going to go to our test. And I'm going to go ahead and put it in dark mode. I'm going to go ahead and log in. I'm going to go ahead and log in as myself. And then I'm going to go see, can I upload a new image? So I'm going to add an image. And same thing, so exact same test, pink beta. I'm going to open the console. Console. I'm going to clear some stuff. I'm going to go ahead and go to our downloads. Go ahead and pick the pink beta and give it a shot. And save that puppy. And we also get an error around there as well. Well, it does say eventually that it's been added. Interesting. So it is not happening. It did throw an error on the polyfills. Interesting. So it's not happening in dev. It's only happening in the emulators. Interesting. Let's try that again. So let's try another. I don't know what we're going to upload this time. I'm going to try downloads. There we go. I'm going to try my angelfish, otherwise known as Scylla. And if I go ahead and do that and I try to save, get the loading, loading, and it has been added. So that must be very much a issue in the emulators. So what we're going to do is we're going to find that code on line 75. I'm going to comment it out for now. And that way we can upload images, because one of the bugs is related to an image. So, and we need to be able to upload images to do that. So I'm going to go to our image storage repository, line 75. Don't remember which one's the one that's actually being problematic on here. Does it give me any more information than that? One image create upload. That's not very helpful. Don't remember which line it is. That I do remember having to delete something, or is it the generates thumbnail that was being done? Let's see. Maybe. Wait, his name was Calypso. No, actually, no, it was not Calypso. I don't remember. I'd have to ask. Yeah. Okay, so that's been added. So pink beta is there now. Okay, cool. So it was a generate. So now we can go ahead and go to our campaign and figure out what this bug is. So if we look at the description of the bug, let's see if we can't reproduce this. When I attempted to create an invite link with a campaign that had an image attached, I couldn't select either a box for the campaign date nor a calendar for the expiration date without just being set to the edit image option. Okay, so let's go to do this, we need to be signed in as someone from, who are you? Multiverse, good, okay. So I go to here and I go to my players, remove, okay. Generate new, so it was an invite link, yeah, generate invite link. And I'm going to add an image. We're going to add Mr. Pink Beta. Insert. And now we're going to try to add. So we can add an expiration date. Okay. Campaign. I couldn't select the box. It's very selectable. Okay. And does the campaign have, does the campaign already have an image? No. Let's give the campaign an image. Just for good measure, let's put one here too. Let's actually upload a second one so we can differentiate. Let's do Beowulf. This is Beowulf. Okay, so let's add Beowulf there. Okay. Save. So now let's go back to players. Remove. I create one. That seems okay, so I can't reproduce this. Interesting. Interesting. So we're gonna put a note on this. To who actually blocked this? I don't know. Oh no, we'll deal with that later. Okay. When you're logged in, you're sent to my images instead of my campaigns. Okay. Let's log out. Nope. Nope. Let's create an account. Actually, I go to authentication here. I try a test account. Email password. We're gonna do more at example.com. We're going to use photo URL now. Password authentication. Doesn't matter because this is just in the emulator. And save. Might need the .com. That would be good. Okay. So now if I do login. Alright, I broke the universe by creating them that way. Create account. There we go. Okay. So now if I log out and then log in, I am taken to my images. Interesting. As a user, so this is for this is when it seems to be when using username and password. So we do so if I clear this up a little bit. I don't know what that's all about. If I clean this up and I go to email and password, my login, we get taken here. My images goes to null. These errors though are not, there are errors in here. This is fine, this is fine. Okay. Not into, that's an invalid. Okay, so we've got a couple things here going on. Starting with, why are we redirecting to my images? Campaigns. When images. Huh. So this, by default, interesting. Okay, well, let's look at the pathing. I may be too tired for this. Let's look at the path. Let's look at the routes. App routing. Redirect to campaign path mesh. Okay. Campaigns goes where we have login. Create account, log out, profile. Okay, campaigns. Campaign access guard. Let's find out what this access guard does. Login. Okay. If no user or no user ID. Yeah. If allowed URL. Okay. Only allow access to invitation page if something tells me it's in here. If it does not have a role or if you're linking directly to a code. Twitch join equals GM screens. Return. None of these include any of that. So redirect the invitation. This is what's weird. Why would it take me to my images? So if I go to app component, let's go to login. Login that component. Return to root. Handle error. Go to navigate. Interesting. So let's keep. So let's log out. Let's keep. Let's preserve logs. And let's try this again. So first off, we're getting a pattern class syntax here. So let's figure that out. So that's some email password. And it's saying in the thanks, super helpful. Invalid characters in character class. Okay, you want to find this guy. Okay. Something in here probably needs escaped. So let's. Well, it was taken straight out of this. Document not found. Super helpful. Input email.html. Let's look it up this way. Input email HTML. See if we can find it this way. There we go. Accents pattern. Here's the pattern. Email address. This is any strict which matches character name, so an expression. So this is literally taken, not unless they've updated the syntax. If we take that syntax, which is essentially the W3 syntax, and we replace that, if I put that underneath it, what difference does it make? Because it's literally the W3 syntax. And it is, as far as I can tell, the exact W3 syntax. Okay. Oh, except for the minor difference of the star. Everything else seems to be. There's a quote versus quote. Okay. That could be just from the document. All right. So if we do this instead, so that we are, do we still throw the same error? Let's find out. So now if I type my password, oh, okay, we might be working. So let me go grab my, somewhere in here. There we go. We should have email password, which we created earlier. Okay, so if I clean you up, do we still get the error? No. Nope, we do. Pattern attribute value is not a valid expression. Why? Okay, so how is it being used? Maybe that's the question. So let's keep it to what it was. Actually, since it's supposed to be from W3. And let's go ahead and grab the new document from the W3, because that was the intent. Okay. Let's figure out how this is being used. Find all references. Okay, and it's saying it's coming from. It's not giving me a very good indication of how it seems to come from. So if I paste something here, no. It's the minute I apparently tab off. So if I clean that up, no, it just eventually loads. Okay. But not necessarily, yeah, it's just telling me at the highest level. Okay. We are accounting for null values here, so that shouldn't do it. It is coming from the user. So I wonder if the contact component does it as well, or the contact page, because it uses the same regex. So the theory is that it should. All right, even stranger. Because as we can see, it's not throwing it here, but it is here. Very, very interesting. So here, email regex is email. So how are we using email regex? Are we using it in the HTML and that's the difference? Pattern email regex, okay. That's legit. So are we not doing that in the contact form? We're not. That's the difference. Okay, so it really doesn't like in the HTML. It really doesn't like it in the HTML. I mean, if I do remove it from the HTML, though, we can rely on our validators to handle that pattern, I believe. And I think it has to do with the slashes, because I think the HTML doesn't require the slashes. So if I refresh that, and I go to our console, now, oh, that's in dev. And I go to our console. You quit throwing that error. Now I somehow don't think it's related. We are getting a Firestore. That's just a local. That's just a console log. Okay. So far we're good. So then we log in. No errors, no nothing. Log in using username and password. Okay, auth not found. Great. Because I added an H that I didn't need that. Alright, log in. No. So that fixed it. And we're no longer being sent to image. Is that the entire bloody issue? No way. So if I go... That works. So now if I... So now if I go put that back in, does it start being a bud again? BHN. No. Well, now it's not doing it. That's brilliant. Nobody asked you for the... Okay. Let's try that again. Let's throw the error again. So it's definitely not throwing the error. But I don't think it has to do with anything in terms of... I think it was a caching issue. Maybe. Because we do have a sticky cache kind of problem sometimes related to having offline mode. Okay. Well, it now works. If I log out, now log in with Raccoon, we're good. Right, so that takes care of that. What time is it? I think this is a good place to stop. Definitely found where that email was coming from. And I think that it's the slashes because let's say if we had if we took that regex without the slashes and put it in there, we would be fine in the HTML. But because it has the slashes and because of using it in the JavaScript and in the validator to make it a proper regex, that's what's causing the issue. So, but the validator is taking care of our, so if I log out nope, not you. If I put garbage in here, right, we still get the error correctly, so we're good on that count. So we're fine there. I'm trying to think of, there's maybe from coming in from somewhere else that may be part of the problem. I don't know. So that's, so if I try to go to, there we go. Now if I try to do email and password, it doesn't mess up. Oh, it went straight to login. Yeah. It does have the return to. Now it does have a return to it. Let's see if it does. Nope, worked perfectly. Okay. Well, that may have been part of our issue. If nothing else, it seems to be working now. Sometimes errors being thrown can do weird things. I'll have to do some more digging on that and figure out what exactly steps server is, if it was Google or email, but the only time we were able to reproduce is with the email, and by fixing that, we were able to see that. Anyway, I think this is a good stopping point for tonight. Thank you for everyone who joined and listened in today. I hope everybody has a wonderful week. Next week, can't remember, I think are we good next week? I'll have to look at my calendar. If not, make sure I've been keeping the my schedule on Twitch up to date. Check it out. If you had not checked out Lorelink yet, you definitely should. It is a very cool product. Let's see if I can remember how to do shortcuts here. No, not like that. Let's try this one. Somebody will have to remind me how to do the shortcut thing. Like this? Nope. Oh, one of these eventually. I mean, it might be faster. Or just to put the actual link in the chat. It's lorelink.com. Definitely check them out. I will also put it in the YouTube chat if you are joining us from YouTube. There we go. Definitely check us out and see what's up there. There's lots of new functionality being oh Lord, we did it with the short version. Nope, that didn't work either. I don't know what works then. Anyway, what was I I don't know. Show mod icons. Maybe I don't know why the commands never work for me. I'll have to ask 20 about that. Anywho, definitely check out Lorelink. To get my latest schedule, you can always find me on ranking.dev. Has links to all of my socials, and I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their week.